In this video, I'm gonna show you how to play the Olaf reroll comp so you can get some free LP by having an Olaf 1v9 just like this. I mean, Olaf just slaps. Yeah, I really gotta stop making these corny jokes, man. Anyways, if you're new here, welcome. I'm the GoldenOtter, a TFT enjoyer who's hit the Masters or Grandmaster basically every set I played, and I just make TFT guides on the broken comps that I and other high elo players are abusing for free LP. Now that's a perfect transition into the Olaf reroll comp. In this video, I'm gonna go over the game plan, the best units, augments, items, and which headliner you should take, and lastly what traits are best in the comp. Onto the game plan. At the start of the game, if you get components for BT, Titans or Starax and Olaf copies, you can consider to play Olaf reroll. At stage 2, you slot in any bruisers or pentakill units you find and build up econ so you can slow roll for Olaf 3 at stage 3. The item holder for Cardus is Kale, so you can slam any AP items on her. And if you have an excess of AD items, you can slam AD items on Nar for your item holder for Viego. So after you hit Olaf 3, then basically what you do is just push levels slowly and you start to put in as many bruisers as you can. So once you find that Cardus, you sell off your Kale and put in the AP items on Cardus. So onto the traits and the units, we have Olaf 3-star selected here. So if we look at 6 bruisers, you get a minus 1.13 lower placement, which is huge. And then if we look at pentakill, here at 7 penta, it's minus 0.37. So it's a lot worse to play penta, almost 1 placement higher placement you get if you go for 7 penta. So you always should go for 6 bruisers, and after you hit that, then you can try to push for 5 pentakill. And I mean 10 penta is minus 3, but like you need 2 spats to hit that, so you can just ignore that. And onto the units, so we're basically gonna value them in terms of the traits they provide. We're kicking it off here with Olaf, and he's S tier, the comp is built around him, you 3-star him. And Ilawi is the 5-cost bruiser, so that's S tier. Yorick, Cardus, Viego, they're ranked in this order, so Yorick is the best, and then you go for Cardus if you have AP, and Viego if you have AD items. So onto the A tier, it's basically every bruiser. Trait-wise, they should be S tier, but these are the harder to hit units, so I just put them here, so you look out for them. And at the B tier, we have random pentakill units, and at C tier, we have random superfan units. I mean, you never want to play B and C, just go for A and S. So onto the items, we're kicking it off here at the S tier. We have Olaf's Biz items, so that's gonna be Titan's Resolve and Bloodthirster. He's also really good with Starax and Runans, so I put them in A tier as well. Other than that, on A tier, we have Sunfire. I mean, you're playing Bruiser, so you're gonna be alive for a long time. So you just put them on a tanky sack, and he's gonna burn the enemies. Very reliable source of anti-heal. So in this comp, I prefer Sunfire rather than Red Buff or Morello, just because we can just slam it on a tanky tank. As we have 6 bruisers. I like Even Shroud as well to the tank next to Olaf. Just removes all their armor. He does only AD, so this just buffs Olaf's damage. Redemption, the same story with Even Shroud, but instead of helping to increase damage, this heals Olaf as well as other tanks. Redemption is really good in Bruiser because it scales off 15% of missing health, and you also get 10% damage reduction. So it just works well because you have a lot of HP, so that scales together with the bruisers. And on the B and C tier, basically how I went over these items is so for the rest of the tier list, so B, C, D, I will explain how I put it. So at D tier, we have items that don't make sense at all. Gargoyle is good for a single tank. We have basically our entire team is bruiser, so prefer not to build Gargoyle at all, because yeah, you get the armor and the magic resist for each enemy that targets the holder. Doesn't make sense in a bruiser comp. A blue buff, you have basically no one that utilizes blue buff. Cardus has high mana. And the static shiv, you have basically no user who can use it. I mean, I guess you put on Cardus, but you rather have some AP on him than a static, right? And Ginsu, basically the same thing. I guess you could slam it on Cardus instead of a Spear Shojin, but you rather have a Spear, right? And so these are items I pretty much never would build unless I just have no other choice, right? So at B and C, we have used all the situational items, like a random Warmog, Steadfast Dragon Claw, Bramble, all works well on a random 2-star Sack or an Ilawi. And, you know, Hand of Justice, Edge of Night, Giant Slayer, all works on, you know, a Viego. And we also have all AP items for Cardus here, basically. And Spark is just really nice as well, because, you know, your tank, you stay alive for a long time with the bruisers. And this just deals a lot of damage and, you know, gives enemies more maximum mana, so you can throw this on a random tank. C-tier items, it's not that they are bad, it's just, I feel like you rather have a Sunfire than Morello and Red Buff in this comp, but honestly, you can slam Morello and Red Buff on Viego. You could build Nashers on Cardus. You could build Gunblade on Viego, Guardbreaker, Deathblade, Last Whisper, Infintage on Viego. You can build Protector's Vow, Crown Guard, Quicksilver on a tank, and Quicksilver maybe on Viego. But I feel like B-tier items are just a little bit better for the units of this comp. So let's talk a bit about augments. I know I put a lot of stuff in here. You don't have to get this or care too much about it. I just wanted to point out some trends in the comp and what augments work well with it. So I'm just gonna kick it off with the 3 Abyss augments that you should know. So Gargantuan Resolve, you just get 40 stacks of Titans. So you build 2 Titans on Olaf and you take this augment. It's pretty much the best thing ever. And too big to fail, you play 6 bruisers, so this is just the best augment as well. So on death, bruisers deal 40% of their max health. You just spam in bruisers, get a lot of HP, more units. It's gonna be bombs everywhere. You think you're playing Sigs or something. So take this, is one of the best ones as well. And the heavy hitters, you play bruisers, their scale of HP. So this augment just makes a lot of sense. You get more HP with bruisers. You deal more damage with this augment. Yeah, the third best one as well. So on to A tier. Basically, I'm just gonna point out some trends that so you just know what to look out for when you're playing the comp. So we have everything that basically works well with either a fighter like Olaf or something that works or scales with HP. So we're kicking it off with Blistering Strike. If you don't have any anti-heal or burn, this is just good. You stay alive for a long time because you have tanks. So having Blistering Strike will just burn the enemies a lot. This is in no particular order, by the way. I just put stuff together. And Ascension, you're alive for a long time with bruisers, so you get to proc Ascension and do a lot more damage. And you know, you have a lot of carries in this comp when you start to level up. So Buried Treasure is good. Have a lot of units to slam items on. Roll the dice, probably really broken if you hit it first augment, a bit worse later in the game, but just broken augment, so put it in. Freaky Friday, use free Infinite Force on Olaf and Viego. Pretty good, right? And then we have big gains, so you get more HP when you kill units, and that scales then with a bruiser, so really good combo. And the harm assist, just Omnivamp makes Olaf stay alive, Viego stay alive. And then we have, you know, a pentakill augment is gonna make sense. Give Olaf crowd control and make him heal a lot. Percentage max health. And yeah, this is how you use things that give you raw stats, like, or give you attack speed or max health stuff that scales well with Olaf and Bruiser. So we have Inspiring Epitaph, Gifts of the Fallen, tons of stats, Vampirism, Last Stand, Parting Gifts, and Stationary Support use buffs your units as well with the support items. Binary Airdrop, use Broken Augment, put 2 units on all of your carries. You have so many carries, so this way you can itemize everyone. Hologram, just another 3-star Olaf with 6 Bruiser Penta is good, right? And the Pandora's, this way you are able to go for best in slot items. So on the B tier and C and D we have just augment that doesn't or make sense that much, like the ones in A and the S tier. So bulk, it's like it's good, but it's not that good. You already have enough health. You rather go for something else than health. So something that's a little bit better is unified than bulk. This way you get the armor and magic resist that scales a bit better with bruisers, right? Then we also have like you Lotus, your team can crit. It's like it's not the worst thing. It works on other units, but Olaf's ability, he doesn't have an ability, so this augment doesn't kind of make sense because he only crits on autos. So rather take something that, you know, gives a better passive like vampirism. And yeah, onto C and D tier, we just have augments that basically econ augments seem to work really bad in the comp, and it's just you reroll for like 1 Olaf free and the rest you just go for level up. So it doesn't really make sense to like go for golden ticket or team building. You just lose out on combat strength, which you could get from augments. So those kind of augments are not performing well in the Olaf comp. And on the D tier we have stuff that you should just never take, right? Like level up, you wanna roll for Olaf free, so doesn't make sense, right? Cruel Pact, yeah, you wanna be low level for Olaf free. Clear of Mind, you need to save Olaf on your bench, you can 3-star him. You know, Clutter Mine, just insta go high levels, you can't find Olaf free, so good augments, but they're bad in this comp, right? And like learning to spell, you gain AP, you get the deal, like stuff that doesn't belong at all in the comp. When it comes to the headliner, you should go for Olaf, of course, and you should always go for the bruiser, not the pentakill. As you see here, you get the 0.8% lower placement with bruiser, and on pentakill you get a 0.2% higher placement. So you basically get 1 placement lower if you take the bruiser one. Onto positioning, there's basically 2 things I wanna point out. First one is this is the late game board pretty much. So what you do is you put your shielding units on the corner so they shield something that they don't use waste their shields and heals. So I put Gragas and Set on the corner. We put 1 tentacle here and 1 in the back so we can have all our front line units here. And that's pretty much it. Very simple positioning. We put the Even Shroud next to Olaf. But other than that, the early game is a bit more interesting, because what you actually want to do sometimes is you put Olaf like here. So he takes aggro first. And that way these units just walk up, and you actually win fights more if you do this sometimes. But don't do it if you think that Olaf's gonna die, then just put it like this. But this way you can deal more damage to enemies. He also, you know, gets more attack speed faster and ramps up. So time for some game analysis. So I will show you an example of when I played the Olaf reroll comp. I basically broke most of the rules that I mentioned beforehand, and this is kind of why I like to make these sorts of guides, is because I basically show you the best in slot for everything that you can get, but once you're in a game there's a lot of different variables and you are often forced to not go for perhaps bis items or bis headliner base trades. And that's what happened this game, without spoiling it too much. So there's Scattered Powder, we're getting a lot of econ, which is kinda nice. We got some decent augments. I'm looking at the Radiant Relics right now. Harm Assist isn't that good as first augment. Yeah, it's gonna be Radiant. We also get some direction of what we're gonna play here. So I made a low mistake here. I thought that Blessed Bloodthirster was better than Olaf. On Olaf, but I actually realized that Runa's Tempest is a bit better. Because basically Olaf, the only thing he does is auto attack, so like Runa's is just infinite damage, especially the Radiant one. But I mean, the Bloodthirster is really good as well, don't get me wrong. And we got the pentakill version right here. You never have to force Olaf if you get it on the headliner as well. What you can do is you play it for the early game, and then you switch Olaf out for either Yone reroll or Riven reroll. So that's kind of a gateway to get into those 3-cost reroll comps, and that's a really valid strat as well. But I really wanted to try this, and I mean, we have 4 copies of Olaf, so we could hit it fairly easily. We'll see how much gold we have and if we hit it. So we're gonna sell here for 20. Actually, we actually decided to keep Superfan because I don't know, I think I didn't hit that many bruisers, so I decided to go for a Superfan opener here, get a free extra item on Olaf. So I know I said like bruiser is a lot better, and honestly it is, but here it's like I didn't really have anything else to put in. I can put in like 1 bruiser, but it's gonna be kind of awkward for my next unit then. So I'm just saving that for level 5. And onto this carousel, I'm really looking at Starex. I need, or not Starex, Titan's Resolve, because it works really well on Olaf. Gives him everything, damage, tankiness, and especially with Bloodthirster, he scales it up to max really easily. So we're facing a giga strong Heartsteel guy apparently, but in these kinds of fights, Olaf is so good because he heals infinite, so even though he's getting low, he's just getting more attack speed and healing more. So we're actually gonna win that fight. So that's really big, right? And boom, a random cannon. So just because I got like Gnar 2, that's why I'm playing Superfan. We got cannon 2 as well, so like it's pretty decent for the early game. Boom. Onto the Krogs right here. We really need to get armor item. I'm also down for like Even Shroud, maybe a Redemption, a Sunfire. So those are the things I'm angling at. The AP components are already pretty good. We can build a UL Gauntlet for Cardus, slam it on Tail for now. So decided to just go for Olaf reroll here, just rolling it down. We're not hitting much yet though, but just have to trust in the process, I guess. So we're only 3 away right here. Not the end of the world. Decide to pick up the bruisers on the way and the pentakill units on the way as well. So next in is gonna be Kale, just so we can slam some items, because right now we don't have much to slam. Didn't get the Titans unfortunately. Here I'm just rolling a bit more because lower odds to hit or higher odds to hit Olaf before I level up next turn. So Unified is decent, we get free armor and stuff. Bulk is decent. Healing orbs is also pretty decent, honestly. Probably going for healing orbs here. Just free healing. And now I decide to put in 5 pentakill. It's gonna be better than this cannon, right? And we're keeping Lilia for Sentinel for now. And as you can see, I'm contested right now. He also has a bruiser spat, so this guy is kinda high rolling it. So let's see who wins Penta versus Bruiser. See, even with a Radiant item, the Bruiser guy, I mean, he almost beat me. Because he didn't even slam like any of his items. So that just shows how much stronger the Bruiser variant is. Honestly. So a random Kale here. I mean, if I hit a random Kale free, I'll consider playing it, you know. Over Cardus maybe. Or we can just play it for now. I mean, I just got so many and got no Olaf, so I kinda just started to pick up Kale. You shouldn't go for Kale free usually though, but like I need to roll for something. Since I'm not hitting Olaf right, so I was like, I'm down for a random Kale free and get it until we have a Cardus 2 or something. Because this Kale unit's kinda popping off honestly. So onto this carousel. Carousel. I really wanna get that Katarina. Yeah, we want that item to finish off our Olaf. And luckily we got it, so that's really big, right? Just gonna slam that on him. And truthfully, I should just sell cannon here and give up on Superfan. I could just slam Therax as well as Titans on Olaf right now. And that way I can just push better traits in. So I think that's actually a mistake. I should have sold cannon and gone for Therax here, but yeah. Now at least you guys can learn from my mistakes, right? So that's a good thing. So you see here, we're against a Yone reroll, a 3-star, and we actually beat him. So that's kind of crazy. It just shows you that this Olaf unit can really pop up sometimes. So on to a Twin Terror player. As we all know, this is the strongest comp in the game by a landslide. So if we beat this, that's pretty huge. And yeah, we actually beat it. This guy didn't have any 3-stars yet though, so we'll see what happens once he gets that going. Just gonna pick up a Mord right here. Why not, right? So onto these scuttles, I'm just looking for pretty much my Cardus items, so I'm hoping I get that. And let's see, yeah, that's a Shojin right there, and the Archangel, or a Shojin or a hat. Yeah, we're gonna go for one Shojin, and the last one is gonna be a Death Cap. Apparently, Death Cap is better stats than Archangels. I don't really get why. I think Archangel would be better. It makes more sense because you have infinite frontline with bruisers. So like, yeah, it just scales up more. But if that's a rub on this comp, I guess it's rub. So stationary is good. It's free support items. Bulk is decent, 3 HP. But I'm gonna reroll the middle and the right ones. They're like semi-decent in this comp. We have enough help already. New recruit is pretty decent as well. But the best one is probably just gonna be stationary. And yeah, I'm kinda happy with the items we got. I really like Virtue because it scales based on HP. So that just gives us infinite healing. I feel like the other item, the Shroud, is like kinda meh. It's like we're gonna delay one cast, we're so tanky, so it doesn't even matter. So I think we could got something better than that one. But it's not bad, honestly. So we're gonna send it up here to level 7, put in the Giga Shad Gragas. And yeah. The only downside to playing this is you're rerolling at, you know, low level. So if someone else is playing an ordinary pentakill board, he's gonna hit like Cardus and Viego before you. That way it's a bit harder to hit those units. But it's all good. We'll find it or we'll find something else, right? No biggie. We're still gonna demolish him though, because Olaf is crazy. Here, what am I looking at? Probably a Sunfire or Even Shroud. That's what I would take. Seems like they got taken actually. Oh, we actually have one chain left though, so that just secures our anti-heal and that burn. It's gonna have infinite value since we're alive so long. So we're just slamming that on Mordekaiser because he's safe there in the back. We want our Sunfire to stay alive for a long time, right? And by the way, this Kale unit, it's like really good. Like for the early game at least. It's, yeah, probably doing almost as much damage as my Olaf. It's just a way to, you know, get to level 8, level 9 healthy, is to slam all the items on her. But if we have AD components, you can slam on Gnar instead. Many items you can still slam on AD items on Kale though, like Giant Slayer and whatever. So let's see if we can beat this 3-star again. I mean, we have single DPS, so I think we should. I mean, we just get infinite attack speed. The Yone is more like multi-target. It's kind of crazy though that Olaf beats a 3-cost 3-star when he's 1-cost, but I mean, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. So this Gnar is just a bait. It's a waste of money. We should just push levels and roll for better stuff. It's not it. We got a tome here. So thing is, we have a lot of random traits in, so we might just get something pretty weird. Let's see what we get. I mean, I guess the best play actually is probably to go Sentinel, and then you just go for, you sell Lilia, and then you go for all bruisers. I think that's the correct play. But I decided to go for the KDA actually. So we're gonna go for 5 KDA at 9 and like 5 Penta and like 2 bruiser. So I'm basically going against everything I said before in the guide, but it's like, you know, sometimes you gotta go off track, even though this has like lower win rate. I didn't see it at the time it happens. We'll make it work. So let's see. We need to figure out what items to slam here. We have one Hodge for Viego. And let's see what we get from the anvil. So it's probably Hodge. Like we could go Adaptive Helm, but we already have all items for Cardus. So we're just gonna hope that we get some good of the component right there. So we're gonna put in 4 Superfan. Get some more Omnivamp on Olaf. Pretty decent. Also put in a KDA, you know, unit. But I mean, this guy's playing Ari, so he has so much, you know, one target DPS. So maybe he can get from Olaf. Oh, he actually couldn't. Holy, this comp is strong, man. And you know, Ali or Akali is just group damage. He's not that good at one target DPS, so we're gonna 1v1 that easily. So here we have Hyper Pop. I mean, that's a free trait, I guess. Not that good though. So I'd rather just go for a red buff actually. I know I already have like a Sunfire, but I mean, it's just 3 attack speed and damage. So I'm just gonna slam that on my Akali. So this is like one way you could play the comp as well. I basically play the normal pentakill board, but instead of having like a random Yorick at 9, I just have Olaf. That's 3-star. I think it's a bit worse than the bruiser variant, but you know, if you just get a free Olaf free, you can just Thieves Gloves him and play ordinary pentakill board. It's kind of what I'm doing here, but I have item slam and stuff like that. So we're gonna go for just a gargoyle here. We need some tank item, and since I'm not like full bruiser, it's fine to go for gargoyle, I think. Just because we basically only have one tank anyways, so gonna have that on our set, you know, so we can tank the entire left side. It's not like this item, but whatever. This way I get to keep, you know, slamming a hodge on Akali, which is kind of huge. And let's see if we can get through this Giga Tank Blitz, by the way. Yeah, I mean, he's so tanky. Now we're not getting through it. The disco board is still too broken. So that's a Akali too, though. I mean, basically we're at stage 5 and we're, you know, playing for econ, so we should lose right here, but once we send it and, you know, level to 9, we're gonna be having a lot more value on our board, and then we're gonna beat people. So I sacked a bit in the last stage, and then now we're gonna send it. So we're gonna crack open these anvils right here. That's a free blue buff on a 5 KD Ari, so might as well take that, you know. I don't really have anything too good. We don't have like a Viego. We're not playing it this game, so I'm gonna go for a Giant Slayer. I mean, people are super tanky and it's a late game, so GS blue is gonna give me a lot of damage to get through the front line, right? And there we go, the 5 KDA spike, you know? So that's big. Boom. On to this round. I mean, what are we really looking at? We want a 2-star RE, but then we pretty much have our board, right? Boom, a big Cardus ulti. This guy deals so much damage. But, ooh, Yone kinda popped off there. Yeah, that was kinda scary. We beat this guy before, but like, seems like he has leveled up, you know? I mean, we're just gonna put in Ilawi over Set, of course. Just better unit overall. So we're gonna put that in, of course. Decided to just spread out my units a bit, try to survive from Yone ultis. We'll see if it works. Maybe like if my Ori gets some stuck on Yone, but he has like Edge of Night, so it's kind of hard to get through. Yeah, it might just be doomed. This guy is honestly kind of giga cap. We still have one more chance to get it though, so let's see what we can pull off here. A Bramble. Yeah, I'm mostly down for Bramble. Just we need some tankiness against this AD comp, right? And that's what Bramble does for us. Ooh, that's a Ori though. Might be a diff. Might be a diff. Who knows? I mean, we're not hitting anything else. Let's just try to see if we can position somehow. At this point, I'm very lost. I'm just trying anything, really. Let's see if our Olaf can one-tap that Viego. Get that out of the way. That's a scary Kiana, though. Yeah. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more TFT Set 10 content. I appreciate it. And yeah, peace out. Ciao.